Basically, I'm using draft database simulator, and I already did 3 of these drafts, but I'm going to from 2017 to 2024, and this is going to be part 1 of that documentary. Part 2 will be later this summer, after the NFL draft ends in 2024. So, this all going to line up? It's very simple. Myles Garrett would probably because people forget the Browns did have the number 1 pick in 2018. Mahomes ends up on the Bears. I think if the Bears had taken Solomon Thomas at 2, John Lynch would have taken McCaffrey. So in this scenario, he gets McCaffrey at 3. And for Cooper, Watt is a Jet. Lattimore's a Derek Barnett. Allen's a Panther. Barnett's a Bengal. Deshaun Watson ends up in Kansas City. Marlon Humphrey's a Saint. Trubisky. George Kittle ends up on the Cardinals. Tre'Davious White is a Raven. Mike Williams is a Redskin. Chidobe Awuzie is a Titan. Njoku is a Buccaneer. Trey Hendrickson's a Dolphin. I meant to click on Garrett Bowles. I accidentally clicked on Conley. Kamara's a Giant. Buda Baker's a Brown. Carl Lawson's a Falcon. Malik Hooker's a Cowboy. Cameron Sutton's a Bill. Hassan Reddick ends up on the Steelers. And then round 2, Joe Mixon's a Seahawk. Cam Robinson's a Jaguar. Marcus Williams is a Cardinal. Deion still ends up as the Bill tackle. Eckler ends up as the Chargers starting running back. Garrett Bowles ends up as the Jets left tackle. Dalvin Cook is a Panther. Aaron Jones is a Viking. Marcus May is a Saint. O.J. Howard's a Ram. Chris Godwin's a Bear with Mahomes. Moton ends up as the Colts right tackle. Tyus Bowser ends up on the Ravens. Curtis Samuel's a Buccaneer. Deshaun Kaiser is a Brown, but gets replaced after year 1. Kareem Hunt's a Texan. James Conner is a Chief. So basically, Matt Milano still ends up with the Bills. So basically, not much changes. Larry Ogunjobi. Juju's a Ram. Juju Smith-Schuster ends up replacing Kupp on the Rams. Marcus Walker's a Colt. So Alex Anzalone's a Patriot. Godshow is a Chief. Kenny Galladay's a Seahawk. He had early success, couldn't sustain it. Jamal Williams still ends up on the Packers for the duration of his rookie deal. Samson Ekebom's a 49er. Downs is still a Steeler. Ford Elder. Jonathan Ford's a Bear. BJ Jones is a was listed twice, I think. Yes, he is. He's listed twice. They later listed Godshow twice. So that should count. So, Butker's a Chief. So not much really changes in 2017. Nate Peterman replaces Chad Kelly on the Broncos. PJ Walker is a nice backup. Kendrick Bourne is a Cardinal. So there are some interesting plot twists, but at the end of the day, nothing really changes because this draft had 4 rounds of starters. And then there were some other players in the end of the class. So it's in Cooper Rush as a Raider. 2017 is interesting. If Mahomes a little bit doesn't you go to 20, lot ends up here. Not change, but back with Alvin Kamara on the Giants can take a quarterback when they get Mayfield goes to the Jets. Left tackle Garrett Bowles, and he has edge rusher and Denzel Ward ends up a Brown. Sam Darnold ends up on the Bills. Minka Fitzpatrick ends up on the 49ers. Roquan Smith ends up on the Bears. And I already see the first three drafts, and I'm going to do the fourth draft live to make it real. And Mark 1 through 2020, that in the spring or summer of 2024, following the 2024 draft. And I'll rewatch. Was a ref, but Saquon ends up on the Cardinals with the Cardinals out on his ends up a Dolphin. Fred Warner ends up on the Packers. Frank Reno, the Cowboys. I know the Cowboys still had Trick, but Trick would retire later. And this Cowboys reload at center. Harry ends up on the line. Getting Chubb due to Seattle draft. And Mary not the answer with Rose in it. How it plays. I mean, yeah, great playoff, but I had to put Rose somewhere. So I am on the Titans, and they came behind me in that. Patriots. Patriots are able to reload at left tackle. Brown out. Trent Brown, Carolina, Dallas go to Saints, Calvin Rippon, Okoro up at Seahawks right tackle. Brown, Justin Reed, Bryant's a Jaguar, Brian O'Neill is a Viking, DJ Moore is a Patriot, and the Ravens and trading up and Rudolph. Let's ask the Buccaneers get Wyatt Teller. The Giants lynch in round 2. The Browns end up with the bank. Smith ends up at a right guard. Darius linebacker. Buccaneers. Kirk ends on the Bears. So Mahomes has Miller as a weapon to pair with Mark. So Breeze has Mark Andrews as a tight end. Ends up on the Raiders. Edmonds. And then at this point, Kemoko Toure, Marco Jones. At this point in the draft, this was not 2017. I mean, it was the clock, but this Cowboys get Scott the. But looking at class in hindsight, really it's as a number 2. Jay had early success. The Rams had Richard on Seattle. I mean, Alex ends up with the Bengals, the team that he ended up signing with rookie deal. Buxton. While there were some nice late rounds of this draft, and wrapping it up, rounds really spectacular. Mike goes to Allen, Puna Ford, Falcons defense, Texas. Edmonds ends up as a change of pace running back. And then 7th round, he's a running back. Troy ends up, Russell Gage ends up with the Rams. So really nothing exciting. John Franklin Myers ended up with the Patriots. Justin Watson at 7. Not a bad year. Really nothing exciting. Major altering events at this moment are Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and the event, Josh on the Cleveland Browns, Nick on the Bears. They're digest here. Take you through team scenario. Finished. I just finished a 20. I'll share that with you guys. And I'm gonna go through a little. And for the next episode, if you think I should just 2021 through 2024 class, comment, like, and subscribe. Videos. Yeah, change. The Raiders get Josh Allen. 1 year. This is very straightforward and to the point. You go back to 2018, I gave the Buccaneers a linebacker. There's a linebacker. There's Dolphin Baker. Was Levante David. Buccaneers don't take Devin White. Buccaneers did have a weakness at right guard, and Chris Lidstrom top right NFL football focus. The Buccaneers Lidstrom. How does this alter things? Well, the Giants get Hawkinson at 6 to give Lamar a tight. So in this scenario, Jackson sits out a year and then takes over Eli. And Lamar still puts up an MVP season. There's a lot we're going to have to alter once we get to the 2020 draft. Brian Burns is a Jag. Ed Oliver. Wilkins is a steal. Williams up on the Bengals. Shot 3. Packer. Jeff Simmons is a Dolphin. Still Redskin. Caleb Gary, right tackle. Dex Lawrence is still the Panthers' nose tackle. Dex Lawrence is still the Giants' nose tackle. The Panthers reach for Clelin Ferrell. I don't think Clelin Ferrell's a first-round pick by won the national title. Pick him in the first. Panthers get stuck with Clelin Ferrell. Bradbury's a Viking. A.J. Brown is a Titan. Noah Bro. Juan Thornhill ends up on the Packers instead of Darnell Savage. Jermaine Pratt ends up with the Eagles. Right outside linebacker. Titus the tech. I had the Falcons in this, so we have our first alteration. We have the Bears get 53 with Mahomes, Chris Godwin, with Mahomes, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, and then the acquisition of Khalil Mack at the trade deadline. They end up going, because remember, Mahomes league MVP in 2018 in his year as a starter. So getting the Bears to Atlanta, have the Raiders at 31, and they lose to the Patriots. Taking that into consideration here, there are things I'm going to look at, and I'm going to do some the 2020 to make it a little bit more realistic. Lawrence a Patriot, Debo Samuel. Giants have Lamar Jackson, they have Alvin Kamara, Debo Samuel, and they have TJ Hawkinson. That they have formed quite the offense. And that's an offense that can do a lot of damage. It's Brown, Katie Williams, Eric McCoy is a Panther. I'm sorry, we're not trying to snatch talent from you. We're just trying to make the draft as realistic. Ends up with the Broncos go through the same. Elgin James ends up with the Lions. So that for Draymond Jones, Chauncey Savage is a Texan. shore up their situation. The Chiefs get Max. Josh Sweat and Max are playing edge rusher. So now the Chiefs don't go out and spend on Clark, their edges, and, you know, that's going to change things a lot. Greg Gaines, Bobby Okerke still a Colt. Greg Gaines is a Ram. And really, you have David Montgomery as a change of pace back to Leonard Fournette. Darrell Henderson Jr. is a Bronco. Miles Sanders is the Bears running. Single still plays with the Bills. Ben Power. Tony Pollard. Carl Graveson's a Patriot. Jacoby Myers is a Raven. Darius Slade and Cowboy. Deontay Johnson and really a lot of things. Omen, who's a, you know, changes at the point. And I'm just scrolling through because there's really nothing spectacular this late in the draft. I believe the Commanders ended up picking Daniel Jones. That's why I'm scrolling all the way back up so quickly. Yep. So Daniel Jones. So Daniel Jones is still in the NFC. So really, this is going to alter quite a bit. But really, not. All right. Take all that consideration. All the way up, and then we'll do a live 2020 draft. Few persons comment. All right. Still take Joe Bill. Still go. He's going to be at number 3. And we're going to just Jefferson Lions. So fans, this is not but just Lions. And there's no way the freaking Giants are making this Lamar. And this is Lamar's. So we're gonna swap Ravens and Giant positions here. 8-4. It's quite the least. So you know what the Ravens are probably have to give up quite a bit. So the Ravens, they're going to have to give up quite a bit. They have to give the Giants their 2021 first-round pick. But okay, the Ravens are going to get a quarterback here. Because remember, Lamar Jackson's on the Giants. That alters the Ravens' season without that franchise quarterback. And they're going to is Oklahoma Jalen Hurts. So Jalen is now a Raven in the draft. Hurts is still a Charger, but we have more quarterbacks in the top now. That's really and Derek Brown's been with the Panthers, so we'll give the Panthers him. Ooh, get Lane. Yeah, right. Arizona in this redraft. Jaguars Henderson in the redraft. My friend thinks redrafts are stupid, so we're going to punish Duval. Andrew Thomas on the Browns. That's the first major game. Andrew Thomas is up on the Browns. Wills. Jets get Wills at 11 instead of Wirfs. Well, actually, the Jets are going to get Wirfs at 11 instead of the Raiders. The Raiders are going to get. No, I'm looking at what the Raiders are able to do in a redraft and weighing my very carefully. I'll give the Raiders, and the Raiders actually have a good corner now. The Buccaneers get Wills instead. 49ers took Kinlaw in real life. Now, it wasn't a bad pick at the time. Losing his string. Bad pick at the time. Losing Debo Samuel. T. Higgins becomes a 49er. The Broncos end up getting the Broncos have and hold on, I'm double checking. So no, AJ Brown went to the Titans. I'm just double checking my sources. Okay, I'm double checking. I honestly don't know what I'm doing at this point. Pittman Jr. is a Bronco. And the Falcons get Trevon Diggs, Pro Bowl corner. So now the Cowboys miss out on both CeeDee Lamb and Trevon Diggs. What exactly are they going to do at 17? Because the Cowboys were one of the biggest beneficiaries from that draft class. And they're going to end up with Jalen Johnson. The Bears don't have that shutdown corner in Jalen Johnson now. Still going to give the Dolphins Austin Jackson. So their draft's not going to change. So okay, the Raiders are going to so this is the Bears pick. So the Bears are going to be in the Bears. Yes, the Bears are going to be in another Super Bowl. And honestly, I'm going to do another trade here. I think the Bears with Mahomes, Chiefs with Deshaun Watson. It's just a bold prediction. It's out there. It's kind of a ridiculous prediction to make, but so yes, I'll make those two tweaks really quickly, and the Raiders end up with that pick. So yeah, a bunch of alterations here ended up altering a lot. So yeah, the Bears, Mahomes, what I have happen: Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel going to Chicago instead. So the Bears end up getting a good coaching staff to develop Mahomes, and it's up for them. So yeah, Bears actually succeed despite odds. And I gave Jones, so they're not running back early in the draft. They're going to with Harris Smith, a receiver on the board. I mean, I took all the so Jerry Jeudy still goes in round 1, but he ends up on the Eagles. And yeah, the Vikings get Henry Ruggs. This is the drawback to the Lions taking Justin Jefferson at 3. The Vikings end up with Henry Ruggs. Maybe he avoids jail in Minnesota. Maybe he's more grounded in Minnesota. Maybe the environment he's in. But either way, he's on the Vikings for 2 years and then he ends up. But yeah, in Minnesota, this whole highway incident, that does not happen in Minnesota because Minnesota is a far more grounded environment compared to Las Vegas. Maybe it does still happen, but it does alter things to a degree. Kenneth Murray, because remember the Bears have Roquan, they have all these talented players, they have Khalil Mack, so they have the pieces on both sides of the ball. And if they hired Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel to develop Mahomes, that's a team that could succeed. Theoretically, that's a team that could win the Super Bowl. Murray. Chargers. Saints ended up drafting Caesar Ruiz. Turned out great. So we'll give the Saints Caesar Ruiz once again. We won't change that. And the 49ers ended up with T. Higgins. So now we have to get a defensive tackle. And I'm seeing if there's a better option. Considering that Devon Hamilton's a starting defensive tackle who got extended, he's going to go to San Francisco instead of Duval. And the Packers took Jordan Love here, but with all the wide receiver options available, do they go that route again? I'm thinking they don't. At the same time, I don't first round receiver. Let's go with Brandon Ayuk. Packers actually get for Aaron Rodgers. So does things. Okuda, a respectable corner. He ends up in Seattle, though. The Giants up with Mekhi Becton. The table for Becton this late in the first round. In the second round. It's a win. They took that Georgia tackle, I think, in the first round. And out absolute disaster. So, redraft. The Dolphins end up with in Miami. And the Chiefs end up at 31. They don't take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They get another running back by the name of Jonathan Taylor. So with all these weapons the Chiefs have, Deshaun Watson, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Jonathan Taylor, the edge rushers on defense, the Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl. Maybe Mahomes has his ring now, but the Chiefs are going to get one eventually. And the whole massage incidents never occur. So the Raiders end up taking another Clemson player, Isaiah Simmons, with the Bears pick. Now it becomes a lot harder to build a quality team around Joe Burrow. You do have Nick Chubb. You do have some players, some building blocks. But it's not very encouraging. Most of the good receivers off the board early. So you got to turn to the offensive line. I'm seeing what's available. I am. But again, Ezra Cleveland is probably the best pick for the Bengals at this point. I mean, you do have Alex Kappa at right guard, so you can get Ezra Cleveland at left guard and solidify the offensive line. I mean, most of the good receivers aren't available. I'll prove it. Duvernay, Tyler Johnson, Van Jefferson, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Claypool. Like, most of the good receivers are not available. The best receiver available in terms of value is probably Mooney Watkins, the best position. AJ Osborne, but again, most of these receivers are not good value picks at 33. Trying to build a team from the ground up. So I would say the Bengals in this scenario go because you have Joe Burrow and you have Nick Chubb, and you have Jonah Williams at left tackle. So I say you get Ezra Cleveland and you continue to select that offensive line and Nick Chubb. So you have Jonah Williams, Ezra Cleveland, Alex Kappa on the offensive line for Burrow and Nick Chubb. That's a solid offensive line to start with. The Colts are going to end up with DeAndre Swift with Taylor off the board. And I'm looking at the Lions here. And the Lions end up with Algerius Sneed in round 2 as their number 1 corner. Okay, so now the Chiefs don't have that. I bet they're continue to build on the and after Grant Delpit. Yeah, Grant Delpit is going to be a giant around here. Duggar. And the Packers end up taking. He's not. We're going to get here to mix things up. The Dolphins will end up with probably Jeremy Chin, but I want to see what else is out there and weigh my options. The Texans here. Remember, the Texans have Mitchell Trubisky. Texans drafted Mitchell Trubisky, and the Mason Rudolph experiment didn't work out. So the Ravens gave up a massive, hefty fee to move up to. They gave up for Jalen Hurts. It ended up working out, but they gave massive to get it. So Mitchell Trubisky working out. These are much on Kindle. They don't right away. I mean, Jordan Love is there. Colts could theoretically afford him, but they do end up getting Rivers. So Philip a and Philip Rivers. Darnell Mooney is the close to an established number 2. Gabriel Davis, but Jaguars are going to get Jaguars Mooney. So good receivers are the board early, basically, because Darnell was a number 1 receiver for 2 years. Darnell was a number 1 receiver in Chicago for 2 years. The Bears will get. Is still a Chicago Bear in this scenario. And now the Bears have 2 really good tight ends. Because I believe we gave the Bears a tight end in our I think we gave Dalton Schultz. Bears have Dalton and for Mahomes to go to now. Fantastic. They get Rich Josh getting. We gave the Andrew Thomas a player. And the answer is no, sounding no. Matos as a Browns missed out on Robin. Browns missed out on Chubb here because remember, Chubb Darren's up on the Browns. Getting another running back, and they've really the best value. And here's where here's draft Love and Group 9 Tom Brady. Yeah. So now asking Bay. What's next? Just going through this and trying to point them. Lloyd Cushenberry was a Bronco in real life. What exactly would Lloyd do here in real life? I don't think he would get picked high, but Uche is a Seahawk in this redraft. Steelers took Claypool in this real life redraft, so I don't think that's the correct pick. Look, screw it. I'm going to give them Claypool. So the Panthers move down to 64, and they trade their entire Chicago, which is crazy. even leaving the get. Got Panthers are good. The reason I have the Bears at 64 is because I want to make the simulation realistic. Robert Hunt, a starter with the Dolphins. The Cowboys, their CDM replacement. So Cam Akers is same exact stuff all over the league. In the draft, most talents are going. You can go through every position here one by one. End up with Jalen Hurts. They have to gamble on Jake Fromm, and it ends up being exact. Still, Sam but better than current that much. When people Jones are really old, good, decent, and you argue slot Jennings a lot. So looking at this, Oz probably best available. Looking at slot draft. Donovan Raven. And this is why freaking is. Because it's really hard to predict what's going to happen. And I guess the Rams, Terrell Lewis, Connor Gross Matto's fault. That is the pick for Rams. Chiefs lose a round pick, but they end up at 6. And this scenario more realistic. Epinez is a Raider. Max be gone on the Chiefs. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Darrell Taylor's a Jet, I guess. Patriots. I don't know. See what happens. Round pick, they'll give, but we're gonna take off Wilson. Titans will get Jordan Brooks. He was a first rounder in real life. Packers groom Jacob Eason behind Aaron Rodgers. Yes, that's a disaster waiting to happen. The Chiefs end up moving back. End up drafting. So the Chiefs' biggest hit draft was he's available to pick somebody else from the class. I'm looking to see really available at this point. Secondary with Blackman have a nice safe. They don't have that shutdown core. And really, that is the difference. Brandon Jones, the Bears get Browns, get Pratt, so they will get Mike Love. They do get really good line. Back on get Denzel around, but really this is the part where Gladney falls to the third round, but the Seahawks go for Jalen Rigor, and that ends up being a disaster. Dolphins get Gladney. That doesn't really work out very well. And really, at this point, the Ravens are gambling. The Ravens take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. At this point, typically take Gallup. And the entire draft is just a show from this point. It's literally the players from the 2012 draft class that have turned into starters, starters. It's real after Luke is. It's end up which is ironic. It end up him in the trade with us. But it's just at this. There's nothing wrong with that. Around get down, have Joel Batum. The Ravens are going to get Jonah Jackson as their Ben Powell. But really, he can be a guard or buy it as from the Raiders. Hakeem, their Banjo is going to be a treat. Harrison of Brown, so Hakeem Davis gave really nothing changes, nothing significant changes after most of the starters in the draft at this point. So basically, we're just clicking, oh, Damian Lewis, that's a good player, but the Browns don't need him. Lewis will be a Jaguar, though. And now the Jaguar left guard, A.J. Dillon, Detroit, and round four. Colts get Darnay Holmes. End up Albert on Schultz. Really, at the point, I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. Most the Leakai Fotu was Cardinal. Laurel Murchison will make him the Vikings nose tackle. Ooh, high. Alex High. Uche. good drafting prevents a whole job with this. Point in half of the talent is going. Shard Lori, Texan. To the 20 draft are Gibson. I guess you can gamble on him. John Simpson. Maybe probably doesn't. Aloha Arms probably. Adult. Stenberg is a Bear. Yeah, and Josh Kelly, Patriots get basically the best option. There's not a team option in the draft. So we're just going to click on all the bets. Stone, that is a good option. And the Eagles, Stone, Howie Roseman gets good value late in this draft. I'm not even sure if Howie still in the scenario. There's just a lot of Shacker. Kevin Dotson is a Cowboy. Don't worry, we'll stuff. But yes, how is the simulation going to look? 55. Mahomes injured and Josh Allen's on the Browns. I don't see the Browns losing to Kansas City. Remember, Andrew Thomas did have a rough season. Diggs, so that career. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see how this play out. But Josh has Diggs and the NFC champion. So we're going to have to undo all the trades that involve the Browns. Make this deal work. But yeah, that's going to do it for one draft. The best talent on the board for the remaining teams. Because most of the NFL starters that are day one starters, most of the NFL day one starters in this draft, most of the successful players are off the board. And at this point, you just take the best player available with most of the successful NFL players off the board this late. And you just go through it. Cole McDonald. Cole McDonald got cut in training camp. Kindle Vildor will make him. Tyre Phillips is a Cardinal, I guess. James Robinson's not bad value this late in the draft. Benito Jones, I guess. There's not a lot of good options. John Runyon Jr. is a Viking. But again, most of the usual board. Sorry, Montez was not an impressive prospect for me. I'm a 49er. So Nick Bosa, Samson Ekubom, Wanham, quite the trio. Still have Jimmy Garoppolo. Player at the Senior Bowl I interviewed who went under. Yeah, most of the good players. I'm just clicking on the best on the board because it's just not exciting anymore. Metellus this Buccaneer and Steele both become Buccaneers. So Bills become tackle. And with that, Brady should win the Super Bowl. But, it's going to be sure he drafted better. I don't think that changes much. I mean, is the Chiefs quarterback now instead of Mahomes. So he should be able to lead the Chiefs to a playoff to this game. Danny Pinter getting picked. Tyler Huntley's ranking, I think. But again, Dallas, Tyree Cleveland. That's a 20 draft, and 2 of this will come at some point in 2024. I promise you. Watch everything and a lot of trades. I am, because with Baker Mayfield on the Jets, there is no way. Because the Jets have Baker Mayfield, they have Garrett Bowles. They're picking 2. It's just they're in that position. They're stuck like purgatory, I guess. Ended up getting they have Garrett Bowles, Tristan Burke, TJ Watt, with all the have. They're in field. Baker's best year was in 2020. So the Jets are probably going to be a playoff team. The Bills are the playoff team too. So there's just a plot. Jalen is going to be Ravens franchise. Jackson's on the Giants. There's just a lot of things to get. And it's going to be interesting. One of a 2-part series. For on the stream now, and the reason I'm going to end the stream is because I want to be able to do my stream on YouTube without any traffic, without any damage. And so that you guys enjoyed one, let me know. Comment below. There's differently, please know. And all history in 20 redraft too long from the of sports.